director, Maria Diane Ventura.
Thank you so much. I would like to call on one of our editors and brilliant cinematographer, Hilarion Banks. Thank you, Mr. Producer, Instant Mano. And also, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of the hour, Eli Buendia.
And now we'd like to bring back on stage your moderator for this Q&A portion from a bunch of savages. Welcome back, Byron Atienza.
Okay, let's go. All right, on the film, right? Hey. All right, so just to prepare everyone, I'm not a journalist. I'm a fellow filmmaker. I'm a fan, and I think I speak for everyone here. Before we even get started, Ellie, how's your blood pressure?
I don't know, you tell me.
Because we got questions. I got questions here. Okay, so Eraserheads. Just being a film fanatic, just finding out that you guys, called yourselves after Dave Lynch's Eraserheads in 1977. It took him 5 years. His marriage fell apart, and the film became a story about a man overwhelmed by something he created. Looking back, after the fame, the backlash, the burnout, the breakup, will that title end up reflecting your own journey?
Wow, I never thought of it that way. I chose the name because it sounded cool, and at that time I was a film student like you, and Eraserhead, the movie, was kind of like in the foreground of conversations of I'd seen film students. Now that I think about it, yeah, it does kind of reflect the same things that happened in my life. But unfortunately, I don't have a freak baby.
Speaking about Dilma, that's where it all started, right? You made Dilma, this creative afterglow of EDSA, a revolution that said Filipinos could determine their own story. This goes into your writing. How much of that energy was actually in the room when you were writing these first songs? How much of that energy was actually in the room while you were writing the song?
Well, the room was electric, literally. At that time in the 90s, everything seemed possible. Everything had so much potential. Even if you're, you don't even know how to tune your guitars, you just have to have that attitude, and you can do a lot with that,
No, I mean, I think you meant the It's a Revolution, how much of that energy colored the writing and stuff, the songwriting. Yeah, that was the question.
No, can you turn the volume up? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
You're so far away.
Yeah, I can.
Come close.
Okay, so It's a Revolution. Yeah, I was in high school. I was a fourth-year high school student when the Marcos family was ousted from the country, and I felt really relieved that the future sort of was finally open for a better place that we could call our home, And knowing that, I think what gave us the ambition to finally pursue our dreams.
That's beautiful because there's so much in your writing. Some of it's humor, love stories. Where does that how do you decipher when to tell a humoristic song? Is it part of what you're experiencing there, or in love songs? How do you differ between those approaches?
Well, yeah, it goes back to my love of film and I like film, and I guess I'm a storyteller by heart, and since I couldn't, I took up film, but I couldn't get anywhere in the industry, so I guess I took all the stories in my head and put it into song.
I love that. And then the second, the government called and summoned you for Alabama. Most artists would be terrified or issue a quick apology, but you treated it like a victory lap. Where does this kind of nerve come from, and what did it cost you?
Oh, well, I thought the hard questions were over. Like I said in the movie, I had fun because I got to meet my hero. He was my hero, Tito, Vic, and Joey Fate. Who loves Tito, Vic, and Joey here? Man, they're legends. And it would have been different. It was like if it was like Carlos P. Roman or someone else who called us to the Senate. But we took it in stride only because we knew that this would add to our notoriety, so to speak, and it's a cool thing to do,
So was the song really about drugs? Yeah.
It's about pot, basically. Since it's legal here, I'm not gonna say that in Manila because
Government couldn't stop you. The fans almost did. You got so big that the cool kids decided like you sold out. So you made a record that seemed designed to push people away. Some people saw that as self-sabotage. Others saw it as the most punk thing imaginable. Looking back, which was it?
That sabotage trolling thing was what the other guys thought of it. I thought of it was just soldiering on and not looking back. I mean, I couldn't have written another Pareko or Toyang or El Bimbo if I wanted to. I was just not in that headspace anymore, and it would feel like a step back from what I've achieved as a songwriter.
And you had to take all of that, Diane, right? Put it all together in this piece. It was well put together.
Thank you.
Good question for you on how this all came together. Yes, it's brilliant. One of the boldest choices in the film is that you interviewed each band member separately without knowing what each other were going to say. Those gaps and contributions became part of the storytelling. At what point did you realize the tension between them members wasn't a problem to solve, but the story itself?
Okay, I'm gonna provide some context. Do you remember the scene where all four of them were seated in the cinema, right next to each other? That was the first time we shot. That was the first shoot for you. And we realized, like, the first question we asked, that was their answer. So we were like, okay, nothing's gonna come out of this. They're not gonna want to talk about things while they're talking about the other person that's right next to them. So we decided to sort of interview, do a one-on-ones, because I think it was important to establish that intimacy so they could feel comfortable talking about things that are difficult even for us normal people to talk about, which they did. And then going to your next question about I wanted to hit two birds with one stone. I did want to solve, I'm the type of person, I see conflict, I want to kind of resolve it. Like, I like harmony. I'm Libra person, so I like harmony. So there was that intention. It was more hopeful. I'm a proponent of therapy, and I feel like the act of expressing is in and of itself therapeutic. So it was like more of a social experiment. Like I felt like, okay, if I ask them tough questions and kind of force them to revisit that like tumultuous past, like what is gonna come out of it? And it was a mixture of that, like that intention or like that hope, and at the same time knowing that I had no control over what they were gonna say, and it just kind of allowing things to flow and sort of evolve on its own. And I think, yeah, that hope turned out to be right. I felt like every time we were in the room and they started unloading, it felt like a huge weight was lifted off their shoulders. And the next time they were together, even though they weren't talking to each other about their resentments or what they felt, like it felt like they resolved it, or there was lightness in the air the next time that they found themselves like in the same room.
You talk about moments you can't control. There's a point there in the film where Ellie has a heart attack, and you being producer, director, you actually help put on these shows. Just paint a picture of that moment for you.
I think I mentioned to you before, like I'm the type of person, like if something traumatic or something difficult happens, I'm an escapist. Like I don't want to think about it, and I try every kind of distraction that I can have, that I could access just to avoid it. But like this was like that part when you were editing it, or when I was watching it, or like even during the interview, like it kind of brought back that like it was one of the most traumatic moments of my life. But I felt that I needed to revisit that and sort of heal through while like kind of doing that. All I could say is it was difficult, and a lot of memories that I have actually repressed started to resurface. And there was like a struggle, like an internal kind of struggle that was happening inside of me, because I was like thinking, oh my God, I am kind of exposing my deepest trauma and sharing that with the world. Like, is this controversial? Like, am I making a controversy out of one of the most traumatic moments of my life? But I think that I did talk to Ellie about it. I think I expressed that those feelings, and I think getting the blessing, like it's okay, like this is, do what you have to do. And that was not the intention. I think it was also something that I needed to go through, just like what Ellie said. So I was vicariously, like, also experiencing the things, like through the making of this film. There was catharsis that was happening through the band, with the band, and while making the film. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So totally, I want to hold on that, and that definitely resonates. And kind of ask you, Larry, how do you, when you're capturing this movie, talk about your approach and how do you frame the truth when you're getting different sides, and what do you look for in that?
I came into it real fresh. I didn't know a huge amount about the band, so I was learning everything at the time, which was very interesting, especially when it was one-on-one stuff. But the tricky part was trying to get the B-roll, the cutaway stuff. That's not the interviews, because being a 6'3" white dude in the Philippines with a camera this big, it was hard to blend in, especially on stage during the performance. But when we're shooting the interviews, I'm always trying to keep my editor brain on, and I would pick out some soundbite that Ellie said about he and Raymond's relationship. So when we're shooting B-roll and he and Raymond, I'm always looking for like, okay, Raymond to smile, I just have to wait for that, and they can move on to something else. Or Buddy and Marcus, like Buddy said something about being disappointed with Marcus or something, so I need to get a shot of Buddy frowning. But with Marcus's interviews, I didn't know what was going on, because I couldn't understand anything. I know a little Spanish, so I could be like, I think he just said this, but maybe not. So I was just winging it with Marcus. But then even in the edit, we didn't have the subtitles for a while.
Yeah.
So when we were editing side by side, we just listened to something Marcus said, and I go, what did he say? What did he say? And we just kind of like pieced it together like that. But it was really interesting to come in fresh, to learn everything fresh. And even editing with the archival footage, like like in the Matrix when they plug you in and you just learn something.
Right.
And just like getting downloaded as fast as possible with something everyone knows from childhood.
How loud was that crowd when you were on stage? Man?
It was insane. I mean, it's probably you guys are used to it, but for me, I was like, just don't trip over, please. There's cables everywhere on the stage. I'm clumsy.
Well, that's great. Like that brings us here tonight. There are people in this room who grew up in the Philippines with your music. There are people who discovered you through the diaspora, through the parents, friends, through this film. For the first time tonight, what does it mean to you that your music found a second life here in Los Angeles among Filipinos who needed it in a completely different way than the ones who were there from the beginning?
For me, it's funny because we really the first time we went here to accept the music award, MTV Music Video Award, we really thought, yeah, this is it. We're gonna be stars in America, because that's what everyone dreams of, right? I mean, at least for our generation, like we looked up to artists here in Hollywood, and we really wanted to spread our music and Filipino culture. Even back then, we had that kind of ambition, and it seemed very within reach. But then after that, nothing happened. Our record label sort of tried to sell us to their not the sub label, the boss label here in New York City in BMG, and they said we're not too keen on this kind of sound. So that was it, and then that dream like subsided, and now that I'm here again with this movie, it's like I'm gonna be a star. No, I just wanna. I have no delusions anymore. I just wanna. I'm just really glad that this movie is out, and like an American distributor liked it, that they would distribute it wide all across North America, and to me that's just beyond what I would have dreamt of, and I'm very thankful.
I think we have time for a couple of questions in the crowd. Maybe we'll take a few here. Anyone have a question? We see some back there. There you go. We'll run you a mic.
Hello.
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 The mic is not working.
Hello, my mic's working. Go first.
Go for it.
Hey, I'm Jason. Winston's question for the producer. What were your challenges to put together the film and getting the directors, the bands, and the editor's vision together?
Well, the easy answer to that question, Jason, is I don't know, because I came on after it was principally finished. So I had the easiest job on the planet, quite honestly. It was just identifying which caterers to bring for this evening. Just choosing the theater, maybe the color coordination with the banner. I think that's a good question, really. The woman with 19 different hats on this.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
The question is, what were your challenges putting together a film like this? How many years did you put together? What was the structure? What were you thinking? Why did you even do this?
Okay, I'm overwhelmed now. I'm overwhelmed. Why did I do this? Okay, so the first question, like the challenges. Okay, so I finished. It took me 3 years to finish this project because I had to basically like like let 3 years pass so that like the evolution of the relationship would unfold more authentically. That was difficult, like a lot of time. The archival footages, like we had to go through like how many terabytes? 12 hard drives of like terabytes each. So combing through the archives and then figuring out which makes it land in which ends up in the final edit. Like that, having to let go of really good interview stuff from beloved like celebrities like Gary Valenciano. We had to let go of that because like I really needed to commit to the narrative that that we set for the film. We shot this like we were following them all around their tours, so that like traveling back and forth, doing the soundtrack in Germany, doing the sound design in Los Angeles, doing editing in Texas. So it was just a lot of flights, a lot of money, a lot of work. And it was also difficult, like the actual shooting. I think, knowing that I was going to ask these really tough questions to these guys who are known to be, to be closed off. Like, how do I ask these questions to these guys, and how are they going to respond to it? Will they even respond to it? And I was just incredibly lucky that we found ourselves. I found them at a time where they were mature enough to sort of like sit through the discomfort and allow themselves to be vulnerable and revisit the past to get to the other side, and that they did. Last question, you said why did I do it? Okay, so apart from honoring their legacy, my goal has always been to have I really meant it when I said this was my love letter to the Filipinos. Like I really did it for us. I wanted to show us and depict us in a way where that stokes our pride, and not just to share their music, but with the diaspora, but like for all Filipinos to see themselves in that film and recognize themselves and say, hey, that's me, and that makes me proud. So that was the objective. And also I hope that even not just for the diaspora, like the significance of this film to me has also evolved. Like it was not just that, but I felt like we're living in a time of like division, and something like this that's uplifting and healing is something that we all need, like despite and amidst all these like turbulence and turmoil. Like we can sort of find our way towards each other and connect, because I mean humans need humans, and yeah.
Very personal connection to Bravo. Congratulations.
Thanks for the question. Can I just ask, how many people here just by applause are Grammy voters? Okay, there's a few of you, right on. Thank you. I wanted to say that because Jason, who asked that first question, is one of our Kababayans deep in the was one of our Kababayans deep in the Recording Academy. So props to you, Jason. I know you've been doing some good work for us.
Hello. I think it works now. I'm a huge fan, so I'm very nervous talking to Ellie. But I'm very interested to know what helped heal your relationship with your handmaids the most. Was it expressing their emotions? Was it therapy? Was it time? I'm just really curious.
Okay, sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So when I saw in the movie, there was like a lot of resentment towards each other, with your bandmates. I just wanted to ask, like, what helped heal your relationship with them? Was it making the movie? Was it time or therapy?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. We didn't want to do the show, the 2022 show, I think, without us finally getting to talk to each other about the difficult stuff, because we already did 2 shows and it went well, you know, financially they were super successful, but otherwise we felt the same about each other. So 10 years passed, and I guess we didn't want to make that mistake again, and we wanted this show to be truly for the fans and truly sincerely being there on stage for each other. And I guess that's what I guess you can say we force ourselves to heal. And I've always said this, healing will not come from anyone else but you. I mean, people will help you, like Diane has helped us and our friends and family has helped us, but you really have to want it. And this time around, we really did want it. And I'm just glad that this happened.
Wow, that was great storytelling right away, and the healing resonated. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Gotta choose. Right there, next to the mic.
Hi, this is for Ellie. Ellie, who is your biggest inspiration when you write your music? And secondly, do you write songs with first the lyrics or the music comes first? And last question, will there be another reunion?
3 and 1, or 1 and 3.
Yeah, I'll answer the third one, the last one. There definitely will. I mean,
Whoa!
I think we resigned to the fact that even if we still hated each other's guts, there would be some sort of reunion, and you only live once, and we wanna keep bringing happiness to the fans. And question 2, I do come up with the melody first, but most of the time it's the chorus and the lyrics for the chorus, like Magazine, Iba na Unity, those 2 come first. And I'm sorry, what was the first question?
Who's your biggest inspiration?
This will sound corny, but the fans are my biggest inspiration.
Aww.
Let me start with my name.
Thank you guys for your questions, and you guys have showed up. Stick around. The Eraserheads have showed up as well. They're gonna do a little performance.
Yes.
Whoa!